And welcome to the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. I've got Vic Faust, Grant Salzman, and somebody in Vic Faust's camera shot. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi.
Well, boy, that's a good way to start.
That's M-I-Z Megan.
That's it, M-I-Z Megan. And hopefully to give us all smiles on a day where there are not many of them to go around. I am Chris Pelican. He is Vic Faust, former Tiger tight end and broadcaster, also joined by Grant Salzman, who is running the production side of things today and will be chiming in with us as well. And folks, as always, this is the day to get your thoughts in the YouTube comment section. Lots to go around as the Tigers lose 17-6 at Oklahoma. While you are in that comment section, please give us a like and a follow. It would do great things for our little fledgling broadcast network here as well. So, Vic, Grant, guys, I mean, just big sigh is where I'm at with this thing right now. You never want to take away credit from a team that goes out and wins a game, but I look at this game, I look at Vanderbilt, and I say that Mizzou lost those games more than the other teams won these games. A first half or first quarter that looked like Mizzou was clearly the better team, and then small breaks in the cracks in the dam all the way. And the next thing you know, the Tigers have a 17-6 loss, fall to 7-4, 3-4 in SEC play. The 10-game season winning streak will no longer be a thing, as the best they can do is win against Arkansas and maybe a bowl game. But guys, I guess we'll start with you, Vic. Early thoughts or your initial thoughts from the Tigers' loss today in Norman.
I feel kind of sick, a little apathetic, just from the standpoint of it's another game where they lose 17-6, and you're like, man, woulda, coulda, shoulda, so close but so far away. What could have been is kind of the season, the way that I look at it. When it comes to this game, you come out with a really, really strong drive, creative play calling, and then you get away from it. And then it's a play here and a play there. The thing that frustrates me, and that's my word is frustration, is the fact that the same things that this team has been all year from a negative standpoint are the same things that cost him today right out of the gate. One, a stupid penalty that cost him a chance at a touchdown. You don't need to hold somebody. Two, special teams. Oh, missed field goal again. It's like, what? The special teams. Why the same guy is coaching special teams, as I've talked about for weeks? I don't know why. Have no idea why. And then the third mistake, or the third situation that you have, is defense playing phenomenal, looking like the best defense in America, and then they give up a big play.
Yeah. Grant, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's kind of with Vic, a lot of opportunities missed for Missouri, obviously. I mean, you think of 2 4th downs, you don't go for it, and it results in big plays for Oklahoma. A lot of very conservative play calling from Drink and Kirby Moore that aren't going to get you anywhere on the road. And your defense kept you in the game the whole time. I mean, if Kevin Coleman catches that touchdown at the end of the game, all of a sudden it's who knows what Mizzou can do with 3 timeouts if they get the stop and the ball back. Prbula probably isn't throwing in triple coverage at the end of the game if all Mizzou needs is 3. Like, you were, again, 1 play away, Kevin Coleman catching that football from, who knows, maybe the ball being in your hands with a chance to tie or win in a 2-minute drill. And it's just the little things that Missouri doesn't execute well. And Vic and I talk about all the time. It's the margins. And Missouri has lost the margins in every single loss this year. And it's the little things. And I think when you see people like Brendan tweeting things that seem like they don't matter, like Drink calling a timeout with 19 seconds left in the first half, it didn't end up mattering. But eventually the things that don't matter do end up mattering, and there's hidden things in the stat sheets, and that's what has cost Mizzou to lose football games.
Tigers lose 17-6 in Norman against OU. They fall to 7-4 on the season. This is the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. Former Tiger tight end and broadcaster Vic Faust, Grant Salzman with you. We'll chop this thing up, folks. Again, as always, we love to hear your thoughts in the YouTube comment section. While you're there, give us a like and a follow. And folks, I'm scrolling through some of the comments already here, and it seems like we've got some very, very common themes. And I assume that this is what the 3 of us will chat about for the next 45 minutes or so. And it is the play of Bo Prbula, and it is also the coaching staff. And guys, I think let's start with Bo Prbula, who, again, if you would have seen, you sit there and we all saw what happened to him at Vanderbilt, and I think most people thought we wouldn't see Bo Prbula again this season. Lo and behold, he's back 3 weeks later playing. So give credit where credit is due. The guy clearly was probably in a lot of pain today, fought through it, thought his team needed him. Having said that, boy, what we saw today was a guy who I just don't know that he gave his team any opportunity to win with the way he played today. Vic, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I thought he did give them an opportunity. I did, but he's not the guy I wanted starting. I wanted Zollers, believe it or not. And I know that that's a very unpopular opinion, especially in my old household with my boys. I just felt like he was a guy that could really help them coming into today. But I felt like Prbula, while he struggled at times, also made some enough plays. I didn't think he was put in a great position from an offensive coordinator standpoint. I'm still beating that drum. I'm sorry. But when you look at the mistakes, it was mistake. Somebody drops a ball here. Somebody does something there. But remember, they were inside the 10-yard line 3 times. 3 times and got no touchdowns.
Grant, do you agree? Do you think Prbula played well enough for them to win today?
Well, first I'll start. I understand the reasoning to maybe start Zollers. Why not give the kid another chance? But the way he's looked, especially behind this Oklahoma defense, I think he would have been eaten alive. I think
Probably.
that there would have been more times that he was put in bad situations where he maybe isn't able to convert or throws a bad pick and it gives up points. Maybe Bo didn't do that. He didn't have the pick 6 or the super costly turnover. I would think the big miss was Bo missing Marquise Johnson wide open down the field, had 2 steps on the guy and he underthrew him. But I think, Chris, the way you phrase it, he gave them a chance to win the game. I don't think he played great. I would say it was a C- play, but if you convert one of those touchdowns or one of those field goals into a touchdown, or you go for it on 4th and 3 and all of a sudden it's 10-0, like that flips the whole game around. Kevin dropped a touchdown. I think on the broadcast they said Bo missed them. It was a perfect throw.
Yeah, he should catch that, no doubt.
If he puts it any closer to Coleman, the defender has a chance to get his hand on it. That was a picture perfect throw that Kevin Coleman has to get. I think it would have been much worse with Matt Zollers, which is tough.
I agree. I think you misunderstood me. At the beginning of the day, I wanted Zollers, but then I was pleasantly surprised that Prbula was able to do as much as he did.
Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough at the end of the day, along with the play calling from the offensive coordinator and mistakes.
And
what I was going to say, guys, is, and this is my take on Bo Prbula.
Yeah.
We're at a point, and again, I understand he was in pain today. There's probably no 2 ways about that. But he is missing throws more than he is hitting throws, is what we're seeing. The first interception of the game, and again, I've never played quarterback, but how he loses that corner on that play, who makes the interception, I mean, I hate to say that feels like football 101 at that point in time. Bo is proving to not be a guy, in my opinion, who can sit there and go through progressions. Number 1. Number 2, again, we run into an Oklahoma defense that has a good pass rush. There's no 2 ways about it. Bo felt that the entire day, and you could tell. Okay. And maybe he couldn't move the pocket. Maybe he physically was not in a way to he couldn't run and throw at the same time. I don't know what the reasoning is, but when Bo Prbula stands in the pocket, I think more often than not we get bad results. And I'm at the point now with Bo Prbula where, we have to sit here to define what the goals are for this program moving forward. And if you want to get to this point where we sit there and say this team is going to consistently compete for a spot in the playoff, I don't know that Bo Prbula can be your quarterback. And Vic, we'll get to this too. I don't think Kirby Moore can be your offensive coordinator. So, I think Bo Prbula had nice moments this year. But I just know, watching what I saw today, there are significant limitations. And you know what? Your defense and your running game cannot be counted on to win every single week. You've got to have a quarterback who can make plays down the field to open up the offense, and it does not feel like Bo Prbula is that guy.
Chris, you bring up a lot of good points, my friend, a lot. I agree with what you say about Bo Prbula. And anybody that trains quarterbacks will tell you, and I had a high school quarterback who trained with several quarterbacks who went to the NFL out of St. Louis. Matt Behrman from Elite, Brady Cook's quarterback. He's helped with several quarterbacks. Gabbert, who had a great career at Miami, Ohio, and is in the NFL. The other thing about this is this. It takes time to develop into a passing quarterback. And you don't go to college as a running quarterback and then all of a sudden become a passer, a drop back guy, a guy that can put the balls on the money all the time, unless you have wide open receivers. And Missouri just doesn't. So I'm very concerned because you just brought it up. And then is Zollers a guy that's going to bring you into playoff contention next year?
I don't. I mean, again, this is a great question. We can go.
You got a lot of money. I mean, it was $1.5 million, right, to bring in Bo Prabula, if not more. I've heard 2 as well.
Yeah. Well, Sam Horn was making $1 million too.
How much money are you going to spend on a quarterback next year? And then you've got a running back to pay for, and you've got a receiver that's going to be very sought after after the season. So there's a lot of money, a lot of questions. Not to get ahead of ourselves. I just was very frustrated with what happened today. And the defense put them in a position early on to get some things done. But, did you ever really think we were going to win the game after the first half?
In the first, no, not in the second half at all. And again, it's because I had almost no faith in Bo Prabula being able to bring this team back. And, we've had several comments, and we get these every single time that the Tigers lose a game. Why did they give up on the running game? And the truth is, and you and I texted about this, Vic, this was the definition of insanity. Okay. When you are going to sit there and do nothing to misdirect the running game, and you're going to sit there and keep relying on your stretch play when OU beats it time after time after time, this is football insanity. Okay. So yes, I would not have given up the run game. I certainly would have given up on the standard, we're going to run it down your throats run game that they used against Mississippi State last week. That doesn't work against good defenses. It didn't work in any of his games this season against good defenses. And so, we can transition into Kirby Moore. Grant, I'm going to let you go wherever you want to go with this. But the truth is that play calling is a problem. Execution is a problem. And, it's for that reason, Vic, you start talking about where the money goes, right? And this is obviously going to be the huge question of the offseason. But if we want to believe that this team legitimately has a shot to compete in the upper echelon of the SEC and be a perennial contender for the playoff, the quarterback play has got to be drastically better than it has been this whole season.
Yeah, and so I'm all for the first drive. Hey, we're going to come out, we're going to run it down their throats, before Oklahoma gets the chance.
But also, Grant, and real quick, I mean, and this is Vic and I talked about this a lot. The first drive was very different than the rest of them. Like, how much misdirection? The naked boot. Fine. There was one time where OU read the naked boot and Bo had to toss it away. But why do you give up on that? It was there most of the day.
Short passes.
This is my point. Okay. Had they done what they did on the first drive, the rest of the game, I think we're talking about a different game. But for whatever reason, they stopped doing it.
Yeah, so first drive, they come out, they move the ball, like you said. I think at the end of the first quarter, Hardy had 50 yards rushing or maybe 49, and he ended with 57. So from there on out, it's nothing. They go basically 3 and out on the second drive. And then the fourth drive of the game in the second quarter, they're moving the ball again, and they don't go for it, which I'm sure we're going to get into the fourth down decision-making. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But the rest of the game, really, after that blocked kick, it was either stretch handoff, punt, or just some of the more uncreative pass concepts you'll ever see. Like, there was nothing that was keeping Oklahoma on its toes really until late in the fourth quarter or at the end of the first half when Mizzou was just in a hurry-up 2-minute drill. Like, throughout the game, to this point, there has to be something of, let's run the ball inside, and then we throw the dump down. Here's the naked boot. Here's the screen. Something to keep Oklahoma off balance. And a lot of really conservative play calling, too, like 3rd and 8s, running just dive plays up the middle. Bo looked comfortable enough when he was in situations, the throw that weren't obvious passing situations. When it got to 3rd and obvious, Missouri had no chance. And the run game was so uncreative, really, for what? 40 minutes after the first quarter.
Yeah,
between
50.
After the first quarter and before the fourth quarter drive, it was some of the most uncreative offense I've seen. They had 8 yards at one point halfway through the fourth quarter in the second half. It was just terrible. And I see a lot of Pribula comments. I think Bo was good enough to win this game. I think Bo.
So do I.
I think Bo.
I
is
barely with the defense.
I think
but you're inside the 10-yard line 3 times and no touchdowns. That's the game. But you know what? My son brought this up to me. He's like, Dad, the offense changes when we get in the red zone.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It changes. They tighten up. It gets so conservative, or at least it appears to. And guess what? We saw the same thing happen at Vanderbilt, and we saw it happen at Alabama too. For whatever reason, and that's why there's so many calls for Kirby Moore, and as good as he's been in the past, questioning whether he's the best guy or not for the job next year.
Guys, you guys are answering your own questions about the red zone stuff. and this is the truth. Why do you think they struggle in the red zone? My 2 cents on it is that the one thing, if we're talking about Bo Pribula's deficiencies as a passer, I would say number 1 is his inability to make quick decisions. And when you're in the red zone, it has to happen fast. You do not have time to let plays develop or think. He does not make quick decisions. This has been a problem with him all year. And in the red zone, it is almost, you've got to read the defense, throw to a spot, and hope your guy makes the play. So, again, we can sit there and say, yeah, Bo Pribula got him into the red zone all day, and then things changed. Well, the truth is that Bo Pribula is the guy who's got to pull the trigger on those passes in the red zone, and he struggles with tight, quick reads. He just does not do that. That's why he's been sacked as many times as he had this year. The offensive line, trust me, it is a highly average unit. I don't believe this unit was nearly as good as what they've had last year. Having said that, Bo Pribula holds onto the ball far too long, which is just an indication of somebody who's unconfident in his reads, and this is what happens in the red zone. So, I mean, again, this is all circling back in my mind, and I agree 100%, Vic. Kirby Moore does not adjust in a way that he needs to his personnel. He has not done a good job of that this year, and that's shown. Having said that, when you have a quarterback who is as limited as Bo Pribula is in his throwing ability and reads, I think that hamstrings you as a play caller.
So are we giving Brady Cook his due finally?
Hey, I've never been one of these guys.
I'm like his biggest fan, and everybody looks at me like I'm a nut.
Well, hey, you know what? The guy won 10 games 2 years in a row, okay? But I've never been one of the guys who acted like Pribula was some next level ascension. I mean, you know, this is if we're going to just keep digging down, at the end of the day, I think we come to a spot at the bottom of that hole that we've dug that says Eli Drinkwitz, unfortunately, despite coming in with this pedigree of being a great quarterback mentor, has not developed quarterbacks in a great way. And again, Brady Cook was a great player. I love Brady Cook. I want him to run for governor. I mean, he's just Mr. Mizzou. He's a great ambassador, all that stuff. But what's kept this team from being elite is the fact that they have not had elite level quarterback play. And for a guy who is supposed to be great at developing quarterbacks, Eli Drinkwitz has not done that job. So this is where
he was great at that job.
I mean, that's what he came in as, right? Yeah. I mean, he was Ryan.
He didn't have any experience
at NC State. Well, no, I mean, he was a coordinator at NC State and did a great job with that offense.
But he was so good as a coordinator, he had to give up the play calling.
Right, and Vic, you might be right that he was oversold in that regard. But let's be real, you know, even guys who are not, you know, it doesn't matter what his background is. He just has not found a guy that has grown into a high level player. And the last time Mizzou was in the conversation for championships on a national scale was when they had quarterbacks like Chase Daniel and James Franklin and Blaine Gabbert. And they have not been able to replicate those sort of players, under Eli Drinkwitz.
I get it. There's a lot of questions. I still don't want Eli to leave. I still want Eli to stay. I just think that there needs to be a change in game day situations. And the other thing about this is, keep in mind, they didn't lose on the road today to Kansas. They lost to the 8th ranked team in America who just beat Alabama and Tennessee in back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
So we can't forget that. And they've lost to 4 teams that were ranked in the top 10 when they played them.
Sure.
So now we're kind of caught between they're playing the best that the country has to offer, but they're not winning it. They're staying close to give us hope. but they're not getting over. So we're talking at a different level. What does it take to beat the top 10?
Well, and so the question is, what is the goal for the program, right? And it feels like from a resource standpoint, from just the ability to compete, that the playoff has given this program a new measuring stick, right? Can you be one of the top 12 teams in the program at the end of the year, or in the country at the end of the year? Like it's a very lofty goal, but I mean, I feel like we're past the point of saying, geez, I sure hope we're in the top 25. Geez, I sure hope we can win the independence poll. Like, I feel like the stepping has gone up, and that is 1,000% Eli Drinkwitz's credit. So again, I'm right there with you, like 100%. Drink is the guy that there's a reason that these programs are going after Eli Drinkwitz, and it's because the guy has proven to be a great NIL CEO. He's a used car salesman. He does a great job of selling the program. He solicits donations well. He does the things that you have to do to compete in this day and age. But to your point, Vic, we keep running into these issues and that prevent them from being one of those top 12 teams. And I think that he has raised the floor. The floor is now, boy, of course we're going to be a top 25 team at the end of every season. That's a great thing from where, all due respect to your playing career, Vic, but when you were doing it, the top 25 would have been, a great thing. So the bar has been raised, no doubt. But again, are we just going to keep running in motion, in place of this stuff? Is this going to be perennial team that wins 8-9 games and plays in the Duke's Mayo Bowl every flipping year? Is that what we're going to do?
And I think it's a credit to Eli Drinkwitz, but also is the bane of his existence right now, because he's made it to a place where the fans expect a certain level, and now he's not delivering. Like he has almost broken that glass ceiling. He just can't quite get through.
Did you expect them to win today? Grant?
No, I didn't, but I think it's a frustration over the whole season. It's a culmination of frustrations. And really, the 3 of their 4 losses, I'm counting this one, excluding A&M, they have had – there are plays where you can go back on. If they could just execute this, and this, they win the game. A&M, they were outmanned. A&M is not Eli Drinkwitz's fault. They had a third –
and that was – right. Yeah, that was just bad all the way around.
I mean, but there are either – players not executing, and then it falls on the coach in all 3 of those games. If it's coached differently, they win the game. I mean, and today is the perfect example. Let's go through it all right here. I mean, they kick the first field goal, fine with. You kick the second field goal when you are up 3-0, all the momentum's on your side, you're on the road, you know that it's going to flip eventually. You almost got the last one blocked. Your kicking situation's been awful, and you kick it. I mean, if that was not the most obvious miss.
Yeah, but Grant, your defense had been insane up to that point. And
exactly.
Drinkwitz was probably putting in his mind saying, this might be a 9-6 game.
What's the difference between 3-0 and 6-0? But it's not that the defense.
A lot?
Not really in this game.
I was fine for them kicking that field goal until it got blocked. And then I was like, oh. But was it 3 times?
Grant, if that goes, if they make that field goal and Kevin Coleman catches that pass, they're a 2-point conversion away from the game being tied. I mean, like, so
woulda, coulda, shoulda again. It's been that all season.
I'm just saying, I don't hate calling for field goals when we sat there for 5 minutes talking about how terrible this team is in the red zone. Okay, like, I mean, so again, you kind of can't have it both ways. So again, it didn't
in
work.
retrospect, if they make a field goal, you're talking about being that much a 1-score game at the end of the game.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
So the thing, though, is that I agree. If you have Blake Craig, if you have a somewhat reliable kicker, it's different. But your operation already was almost blocked the last time. Like,
yeah. First one was almost blocked. Second one was.
Your field goal kicking has been so incompetent. Why live on the edge again? Like, that is what I was saying before they even kicked it. Why in the world would they kick this? Because there's no shot he's making it. And it got blocked and he missed. Like, unless you figured out why it was almost blocked, which they obviously didn't, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I hated that call. Like, I hated the call to kick that. I thought it was incompetent. Honestly,
No.
even if you made it, I would much rather have gone for it, especially on the road with an offense that probably would struggle. I don't get it. I don't get the play calling at the end of the half. I mean, you come out before the timeout on 3rd and goal, and Logan Muckey's in motion. Everyone in the stadium knows it's going to be a run right. And you come out, you know what you should do? Okay, let's do it again. This time, though, it's just going to be a little boot. We're going to have a tight end wide open, and you run a stretch. Where all 11 Oklahoma players were on the running back. I mean, it makes no sense.
And on top of it, they motioned to the side, to the right side where they ran. So they brought another defender over there. And I'm like, I know we're not coaches. We're not making $1 million, but I'm like, no. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, falling under the category of glass house and throwing stones. I think Greg McElroy does a really nice job as a commentator. But on that play, I'm laughing at him because he goes, I forget who made the tackle for OU. Yeah. He's like, oh, there was one guy who needed to make the tackle, and he did. And I'm like, do you notice the other 3 guys who were behind that guy? Because if he had missed, there were 3 other guys ready to make the tackle. So, no, that play was they might as well have.
And it was after a timeout.
Yeah, no. All right, take a deep breath, boys. I got to do a read. We're too far into the show. I haven't talked about any of our fine sponsors. So the Mizzou Central Postgame Show, it is brought to you in part by the Legal Buddy app. Life happens fast. 1 minute you're driving home, the next flashing lights are in the rear view. When trouble knocks, answer with confidence. With the Legal Buddy app, you can connect to a local attorney in seconds, whether it's a DWI, car accident, criminal charge, or traffic ticket. Download the Legal Buddy app today at legalbuddyapp.com. Register and use the code LEGAL, that's LEGAL, to enter for a chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card. Always on your side. That is the Legal Buddy app. Mizzou loses today 17-6 in Norman to fall to 7-4 on the year. Again, it seems like the majority of the conversation about this game today is going to focus on the coaching and the quarterback play, and we will continue to chop that stuff up, folks. As always, jump in to the YouTube chat, and while you're in there, please give us a like and a follow. Let us know what your thoughts are on today's game. And guys, we're talking about, again, they have Arkansas next week. They have a bowl game at some point in time that, again, I think the bowl games are fun. No one else does. But at this point in time, I'm excited for whoever they get to play. It's one more chance to watch football. But, I think we're not too early to start talking about what's next for this program. And, we're sitting here and we're talking about Bo Prabula getting $1.5 million, maybe $2 million, that sort of thing. Kirby Moore, a guy who at different times has been a head coaching candidate. I sit here and I look across the sideline today at what OU did, and OU followed the Vanderbilt model, which other teams are doing as well. Do we think that's the next step for Mizzou, to go out and find a senior quarterback on a mid-major program who's done really, really well, bring his offensive coordinator with him, like OU did with John Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, like Vanderbilt did with Diego Pavia and his coordinator and his whole freaking offensive coaching staff from New Mexico State? I'm sitting here going, I agree that Matt Zollers is probably the future of this program, but are we at a point now where year to year this team needs to be looking for a polished, ready to play passer who can give this team more in the passing game than what we've seen from Bo Prabula?
Yeah, we are.
That's the answer. Yes.
Yeah, it is. And it's unfortunate because you won't be able to have somebody like that, Prabula and Zollers, all on the same roster making the kind of money. So there would be changes, but that's, I'm going to give you another perspective of it. The high school football recruiting, which my son is going through, and unless you're an elite 5-star, maybe 4-star, they're not even recruiting high school kids anymore, so much so that they have to have you now. What can you do for us right now? Maybe next year. It's all about now, new teams. I'm sad because this defense has been so good this year, but literally hung out and dry by the offense. There has to be changes with the offense for next year. You'll have Hardy back, allegedly, if they can pay him. I think he'll stay. But you've got to be able to keep defenses honest. All you need right now is one really good receiver and a good quarterback that can actually throw routes, that can throw, maybe even sometimes throw open, to keep the linebackers and the safety from being moved down, to keep people honest. That's why, Chris, I agree with you. Yeah, I think you're right. They got to find – I don't know if Prabula is the guy next year. And I don't think Zollers is the guy to get him to the playoffs next year. Not yet. A lot of development will happen for him because he's so young. But, my gosh, There's a lot of things and we don't know what kind of team Missouri's going to have back. And Chris, you talk about the future. Let's not all of a sudden chalk up some win against Arkansas. and I know that may sound crazy, but Arkansas is in a battle right now with Texas. And you go to Arkansas, are you going to be able to get everybody to buy in to do the right thing next week?
Yeah, no, it's certainly a potential letdown. This will be Eli Drinkwitz's job this week to make sure that the motivation level is in good order. So we'll have to see. He is Vic Faust. Grant Salzman is with us right now. We see a gray box where Grant is, so I'm not sure what he's up to at this point in time, probably producing away. But this is the Mizzou Central postgame show right here on STL Sports Central. And folks, it is brought to you today by our business banking partners at Home Bank. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business is not just about the numbers, it's about relationships. And with Home Bank, these relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. Home Bank, member FDIC, more than a bank. They are your business partner. And they do bring us the money moment of the game. Vic Faust, let's start off with you. What was the money moment of the game today as the Tigers lose 17-6 in Norman to the Sooners?
Oh man, I've been thinking about this today too. And I was like, is it it's more of a negative because of what happened. And then I started looking at it and I'm like, do I go back to the negative again? And I think I do. My money moment was Missouri not scoring on the aforementioned fourth down play when they had the timeout from Oklahoma. We ran our motion guy over the play we were just talking about. Missouri gets stopped on 4th and goal. That was the money moment negative for us.
Grant, what do you got?
Yeah, mine's pretty easy as well. We talked about it. It's the block kick. I think up to that point, Missouri was playing like they were the better team. 4th and 2, 4th and 3, you could go for it, I thought. And then really the ensuing 2 or 3 plays later, 87-yard touchdown.
Yeah, 3 plays later.
Yeah, it just totally flipped the entire game.
Yeah, I would just kind of finish off what you guys are talking about with Isaiah Satania on an 87-yard touchdown on 3rd and 7. Just, it was an interesting thing because it was obvious that Ben Arbuckle, the OU offensive coordinator, thought the best matchup for his team all day was going to be the receivers against our secondary. And if we're going to be honest, the secondary played a pretty good game overall today.
They did.
That moment, man, I mean, you can't tell me that they don't work on how you cover bunch formations in practice, since we see them, probably 25 times every single week.
They got caught.
Against most teams. I mean, it was just, and that, I mean, Vic, again, I'm not going to toot my own horn. I thought you would have tooted for me already, but literally about 5 minutes before that happened, I said, I'm worried about a big play in the passing game. And lo and behold, it
you
happened.
Called it.
Because it was there. It was sitting there, and they finally cashed it in. So, again, if we're being honest, it was the defense as a whole played well. The secondary, in what seemed to be a tough matchup, played a really, really good game today. But this is football, and 5 plays can make the difference between winning and losing, and that is 100% what happened to this team today. And the money moment of the game, again, is brought to you by Home Bank, the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. So, guys, wanted to ask you about something that happened earlier in the week where Eli Drinkwitz took time out of his press conference to basically call on business leaders around the state to keep funding the program, whether that's NIL. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on where that came from, because again, you can't tell me. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz is a smart guy. Sometimes we can argue about what he does on game days as a coach, but he's got this program running in a very, very good direction. Do you think that he's at a point right now where he's aware that, I can get it's going to cost me $2.5 million to keep Ahmad Hardy. It's going to cost me $1.5 million to keep Olubade. I've got my eye on this quarterback out of North Texas or somewhere who's lighting it up right now, who I think he's going to cost me $2.5 million. I mean, do we think that there's something behind the Drinkwitz call to the business community, or do we think this is just something, I've heard the theory as well that this is his way of paving the road for his departure. When he goes and takes a job somewhere else, that, well, I just couldn't get couldn't get enough support from the people. I'm just curious your guys' take on what the Eli Drinkwitz, we need pass the hat to the business community speech was earlier this week.
It can be both, but I'm telling you right now, it is a reality. If you want to keep up with the Joneses, you got to keep up with the Joneses. They're going to have to bring money in. He's also got an issue because Ahmad Hardy, like we said, is going to get paid. Alubide is going to get paid. These are guys, you're probably going to have to bring in another quarterback. I'm not trying to be over the top right now. We talked about the quarterback situation. That offense has to be evaluated. It does. And I don't know where you go. And then he's looking at his line. He's like, my offensive line is average.
At best.
You're probably gonna lose Caden Green.
You think so?
He's
junior. He's a junior. You think he's a pro, huh?
I think so. And you lose Wilson.
Really?
And then you look at your defense.
There's no film there? Okay.
And then the seniors, and to keep up that deep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Missouri's not going to be able to spend what they did in the last couple of years to get the kind of players that they have right now. They're going to have to spend more because more teams are stepping up now. And we're already seeing it. Not everybody, but look at what's happening with Lane Kiffin and the early reports of guaranteed $25 to $35 million of NIL contract money. If one school does it, trust me, the other nut job SEC schools are going to do it too. And if you want to have some sort of competitive team, you're going to have to get in the neighborhood. And Mike Kelly said this on Grant's show that I was on earlier in the year. Mike Kelly told us as the season was starting that businesses and people needed to step up because that was one area that Missouri was still lacking. We had good money from massive corporations, but not after that to compete and compare with the rest of the SEC. This isn't anything new. Mike Kelly said it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think, Vic or Chris, it's a little bit of the writings on the wall is that you have to get a little bit more money to keep these guys, Hardy, Zollers, maybe a new quarterback, Alubide, but also that it's been, 3 or 4 years of NIL now? Who knows? Who's to say that people aren't going to get tired of, well, I'm paying this guy this much money. I'm putting this much money in. I'm not getting anything back. They're not performing. Like it's more of, I think, trying to keep people in with their investments because I think we haven't really seen how it'll work. But if someone's been investing $1 million for 4 or 5 years and Mizzou's winning 8 or 9 games, they might be a little bit tired of it by now.
Yeah, a friend from a different broadcasting outlet, Tim McKernan here in St. Louis, actually had a text message exchange with a quote-unquote high-level booster. So again, who this is, don't know. Having said that, the theme on it was NIL investment is the worst investment I make. I get nothing out of it. And the truth is that he said, I get nothing out of it, and then they just keep coming back asking for more. And
it's
so
worse than buying a car. Buy 10.
That's it. And Grant, to your point, is there a point of critical mass with NIL to where, because again, like you said, it's a new thing at this point in time, right? Everyone was excited. Hey, let's go buy, Ohio State bought the best team money could ever buy, and they won a national championship because of it. Great. But is there going to be fatigue? I speaking for myself, I don't know the financial situations of my two friends here, but it's not something that I'll ever have to think about because I just don't have that kind of money to give. But if you are somebody who's got millions of dollars and you are a huge diehard Missouri fan, at what point do you sit there and say, yeah, we're in the Duke's Mayo Bowl again, and I gave $1.5 million this year for us to get Bo Prabula, and then I spent every Saturday crapping on everything he did. It's one of these things that are we going to get to a point where that is what's going to happen at all schools, or are we going to end up with where we were before, which was the top 10 blue bloods are always going to have a $50 million NIL budget while the rest of the country struggles to put together $10 million bucks. And it's just going to go back to what it was, which is the same 10 teams winning every year. Your
only hope is to win at least one game against a top 10 team. I'm telling you.
At this point, I think we'll take a top 25, which
you got to have
4 against them.
If I'm giving $1 million, let's say I'm giving $200,000, you got to win. You got to win a big game, right? And then if
I got to get some happiness out of this, don't I?
Yeah, that's my point on it. At least that's how I'm going to feel when I have $1 million or $250,000 to give to my program.
Grant, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing of eventually they're going to get tired of it. I do think, Chris, while the Blue Bloods will be able to spend more, I think that there will be more teams able to spend enough to where good coaching can beat the really good teams. I mean, we've seen Alabama struggled a little bit. Obviously, Ohio State has been dominating, but I think it still evens the playing field a little bit more than what we saw maybe during before NIL, especially with the 12-team playoff as well. And if it's not next year, then when will it be? I mean, that's what I thought about this year for Missouri making the playoff. The schedule the last 2 years have just out so perfectly. If it's not next year, when the schedule is probably the easiest it will be in the next 4 years, when will it be in the next 4 or 5 years for Missouri?
Yeah, I mean they're all great points. Again, we come back, we go back and forth on this all the time. And at the end of the day, with this team, it does seem like I'll sit here and say that I think they've got the right guy to be the GM of this program in Eli Drinkwitz. I think he is maybe a little bit of money and a little bit of a tweak on the coaching staff away from this thing being because if we look at this year again, and this is where I think, brass tacks, if they win this game today, they beat Vanderbilt, which were two games that I would sit there and say Mizzou lost instead of the other teams won. They are a win against Arkansas away from playing in the playoff.
Yeah,
I mean, let that sink in for a second, And again, and this is a year too that, it is so hard. It's so hard in the moment to look at this thing from the 30,000-foot view. My good friend Gabe DeArmond, who runs a rival postgame show to ours, has said, he says this in August every year, if you lose your top two quarterbacks and you're playing your third guy, well, then you can't expect anything to happen. And look, I mean, again, that happened to this team and their place kicker, which was a huge problem. And I mean, here we are still, the 11th game of the season. And I mean, I don't think they had a great shot at getting in. They probably had almost a none shot. But the point is that this is still this season was there's still something to play for. And lo and behold, they kind of, so I sit here on one hand and say, Vic, you said it early, so close, yet so far away, because they were this close this year. But doesn't it feel, Vic, though, that doesn't it feel that the things that have to change to close that gap are pretty big deals?
Yeah, but here's the thing. It is. Well, penalties, nope, that's on you. Special teams, easy fix. Why didn't they do it? I don't know. Big plays, I don't know. But I can tell you this. A lot of our frustrations and issues have been talking about the offense, but just remember, each year the teams are different. You lose Carnell next year, you lose Catalong, you lose Toriano Pride, Norwood, Young, Newsom. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of guys that you got to go pay and get to come in and compete immediately. That's why I'm concerned, because it sucks, because we just wasted, in my humble opinion, the best all-around defense I have ever seen at the University of Missouri.
But Vic, I mean, let's be real about this, okay? Drink has proven to be exceptional in the transfer portal.
Yeah, but there's a lot of positions this year that have to get fixed.
Right. You're totally right. And you know what? When we have more time, at some point in time, I feel like we could go by position and see what's in.
I mean, McClellan, Sterling Webb, they're gone.
The defensive line is getting ravaged, especially up the middle, where I thought they were going to be weak this year, and I will 100% backtrack on that statement, say I was wrong. Their interior defensive line played fantastic this year. Marquise Graciel was fantastic this year. Like you said, Sterling Webb was really freaking good. Chris McClellan, man, boy, you talk about hitting a home run in the transfer portal. Chris McClellan has been a difference maker along this defensive line. So you were right. They've got a ton to lose, but boy, do they got some names. They've got some talent. Your guy, Nick Rodriguez, I think is going to be a guy who ends up being 100-plus tackle guy the next 2 years.
Good.
And so there's pieces, and I'm telling you.
But he's also really good because the D-line is so good. Every great linebacker has a D-line in front of him.
But, I mean, you still have Damon Wilson coming back, theoretically. again, I guess we have to say
Is
theoretically
he?
on everything. I don't,
Hopefully.
who knows? But again, the point is that if we're sitting there talking about, is Drink hitting above 500? Is he doing better than he's losing in the NIL portal? He has done so much better. What's gone in has been exponentially better than what has gone out in the transfer portal for Eli Drinkwitz. So
he's had money,
Yep.
and I think the price is going up on everybody, at least this next year, and there's more spots. That's why he's coming out and talking.
I think there might be something to that. Grant, any thoughts?
Second contract's always more expensive. I mean, to Vic's point, a lot of defenders you got to replace, a lot of guys you got to re-sign, and I don't know. They'll see. I think that if Drink stays, he'll be able to put together a really good transfer portal class again, and Missouri will be right there, 8-4, 9-3, trying to break through again next year.
Hey, and Trotter's going to get a salary increase too, man.
Whatever he wants, blank check.
I mean, there's a lot of money now. Illuminate is going to get paid big.
100%. I mean, boy, Blake Craig could probably ask for a raise. Hey, look what happened when I wasn't around.
Oh, don't even.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, hey, Missouri, big news. It's almost your turn to get into the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you will get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, and promos that keep the action going all season long. No wonder it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. The countdown is on. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code STL Sports. New Missouri customers sign up today and score the $300 in bonus bets once we are live. That's code STL Sports. The crown is yours in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over.
Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. I tag team that disclaimer there with the guy, so it's me and him.
I tried, and he wasn't really very loud. Guess
what? His NIL price tag is going up as well. That's it. All right, guys. Tigers lose 17-6 to Oklahoma today. They fall to 7-4 on the year. They will wrap up the regular season next Saturday against Arkansas. That game in Fayetteville. So chance to win their 8th game of the season against sort of an upstart, resurgent Bobby Petrino-led Arkansas team. Guys, your thoughts going into this one? It seems to me that this is going to be whether or not Eli Drinkwitz can motivate his team sufficiently to win this game will be the deciding factor. Vic, your thoughts?
Yeah, Missouri has more talent. Should they win? Absolutely. Will they get the buy-in that they should have? Yeah, I think that they will. But here's the other thing. It's a weird week. You're going to Arkansas. You've dominated them. Arkansas has come out of the gate today playing at Texas pretty decent. They've given up a couple touchdowns, but I'm surprised at how well their offense has moved the ball. Missouri should win. I pray and hope for these seniors that they go and do everything that they should do. I just don't know what kind of drama, if we have any this next week, that may come up from a coaching standpoint. Drinkwitz's name being thrown out there, if he's still a candidate somewhere. I don't think he is, but we'll see.
Grant?
Yeah, I think it's you just have to find a way to motivate the guys. I mean, what's weird is it's a really, really, really good defense for Mizzou and a really, really bad defense from Arkansas, and a really, really good offense versus Arkansas, and a offense from Missouri. So it'll be really interesting what gives in this game. I think you got to find a way to motivate the guys. The defense, I think, will fly around. I think this game, while it should have fireworks, I think it'll be a low-scoring, ugly game, and I think Mizzou will come out on top because of their ability to run the football. Brian Hoffman says Mizzou needs to get sellers from the portal out of eligibility and will be entering the NFL draft.
No, we need to find somebody to coach special teams, and I'm not trying to be mean or it just come on. You're a Power 4 team. You can't have punters. You can't have breakdowns. You can't have your second kicker be questioned on whether he's even better than some top-notch high school kickers. It just, especially when I talked about the kid that had to go to SEMO because Mizzou wouldn't look at him. And his name's Salah. And he was booting 50-yard field goals in high school last year. And he didn't miss any. But somehow, some way, he ended up at SEMO and would have loved to have been the backup kicker at Mizzou and wouldn't have been missing the field goals that we had this year.
A lot to chop up, folks. We've gone for darn near an hour, 50 minutes here today, and I think we all need to take a breath. Tigers lose a tough one, 17-6 in Norman. The playoff dreams, which were probably gone anyway, are for sure gone at this point in time. They wrap up their season next week against Arkansas in Fayetteville. We will have a post-game show that day for you as well. For former Tiger tight end and broadcaster Vic Faust and Grant Salzman, I'm Chris Pelican. This has been the Mizzou Central post-game show right here on STL Sports Central. Folks, we will see you next week.